Tropical storm Isaias is paralleling the east coast of the U.S. I'm Mike Naso with the latest nighttime video update. It's Sunday night, 11 p.m. I got the latest hot off the presses on Isaias. You can see it there sitting right off the coastline there of central and northeast Florida. And even though it's bursting pretty well, it's still displaced with most of the convection to the northeast of where the center is, and it has not become a hurricane, but it could potentially become a Category 1 once again before striking the Carolinas and areas further north. Let's get the latest now as of 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here it is. Tropical Storm Isaias as of 11 p.m., 28.5 north, 79.8 west. Winds are 70 miles per hour, so it's perched just below hurricane strength, and it wouldn't take a whole lot for it to become a hurricane. Again, right now it's not explicitly forecast by the Hurricane Center, but it's possible. And remember, the difference between 70 and 75 is not that big a difference at all. It's moving north-northwest now at 9. Now, this is expected to eventually become a little bit more due north, and then north-northeast, and then northeast, and jettison on off into the Canadian Maritimes by the time Wednesday night rolls around, but not before impacting the Carolinas with strong winds and high surf, as well as rainfall and surge. We do have a hurricane watch in effect from South Santee River, South Carolina, to Surf City, North Carolina, and we also have those tropical storm warnings, Sebastian, Inlet, Florida, to Fenwick Island, Delaware. So the entire East Coast now is hunkering down. Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds, you're also under a tropical storm warning, as well as Chesapeake Bay southward from Smith Point. Okay, and we have a tropical storm watch, Fenwick Island, Delaware, northward to Rhode Island, including Chesapeake Bay north of Smith Point, Tidal, Potomac River, Delaware Bay, Long Island, and Long Island Sound. So just because this storm's off the Florida coast, do not think that you're not going to deal with it up here in New England and the Mid-Atlantic. However, it looks like landfall is going to be somewhere along the border region here of North and South Carolina. So if you're in Myrtle Beach, Cape Fear, you guys could end up seeing landfall somewhere in this stretch here. But again, a lot of bad weather is going to extend far from the center. I did want to also note we have a storm surge advisory in effect from the Hurricane Center, and that includes Edisto Beach, South Carolina to Cape Fear storm surge warning, and a storm surge watch from Cape Fear to Duck in North Carolina, including Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds, and part of that is because of this storm surge threat. Look at here, we could have water rises from Edisto Beach to Cape Fear 2 to 4 feet above normal tide levels, from Cape Fear all the way up the coast to the Chesapeake 1 to 3 feet. So again, if you're in Chesapeake Bay, Potomac River area, Albemarle Sound, Pamlico Sound, the Neuse River, you guys want to be ready for some heavy water rises as Isaias pulls north over the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's the latest long-range radar out of Melbourne, and again, it's kind of been competing here. The actual center is down here, but it almost looks like it's closing off a center further north. It's a mid-level, low-level thing. The low-level center is the actual center of the storm. The mid-level is at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and that's looking impressive, but as of 11 p.m. tonight, the Hurricane Center doesn't see too much strengthening right now. Nevertheless, thankfully, Grand Bahama Island here, the heavy weather has pretty much moved out of your way, although you still do have some storms here moving on through this evening. The track forecast is pretty straightforward. Like I said, north, north-northeast, and then right into the Carolinas. Again, it could be further south towards Charleston. It could be up here closer to the Outer Banks, but because of the angle of the coast, the worst weather is probably going to be on the north side, the right side of the tropical storm. And again, if it becomes a hurricane, like I said, there's not a whole lot of difference. The main rainfall threat is the biggest thing here. We've got heavy rainfall all the way up the eastern seaboard. And again, some of these rainfall totals, 4, 5, 6, 10 inches. And this is going to be from South Carolina all the way into Maine. So we're going to have to deal with it as this trough moves through and pushes our storm northeast. Is still going to carry a lot of wet weather with it. And there is the threat of flooding. Flash flooding, moderate risk, especially from South Carolina all the way through Virginia into New Jersey and PA. You guys could be dealing with it as well in the Mid-Atlantic. So Isaias is going to pack a wallop for a tropical storm, and hopefully it's not a harbinger of things to come, but it looks like it might be. Here's a nice little infrared satellite imagery, and you can see the storm's blowing up very nicely there, but again, the center is displaced here. Now, if we get the center wrapping under this thunderstorm activity a little better, we might see it strengthen into a hurricane, but right now, still a tropical storm. You can see this flow here starting to move in, the troughiness, which is going to turn our storm north and then northeast. So again, South Carolina, North Carolina, you guys be prepared for wet weather, threatening flooding potential, power lines, trees coming down. Again, it's going to be a nasty tropical storm with storm surge and heavy rain moving through your area within 24 to 48 hours. Now there's Isaias on the left edge of the screen there. You can see the pattern here. The flow is going to turn it on off right up the eastern seaboard. But we have this feature here north of the islands. This is an invest, and it's kind of wrapped up in this upper level low. However, it may develop into a tropical depression or storm and move generally west-northwest, but then kind of stall out here and get stuck. Once this troughiness pushes Isaias out, we'll likely have some ridging build back in, and if we don't, we'll have some weak steering currents. There won't be a lot to move this system, and so we're going to watch that. We also have some waves leaving Africa. We could have a lull for a week or two before things really heat up, but again, we're going to keep an eye on it. If this system does develop into a tropical storm, the next name is Josephine. This time last year, we were on what? Chantal? It's amazing how busy it's been so far. Here are those computer models. Again, it shows the system moving towards Bermuda and then getting left behind here with a gradual westward drift. Not getting too intense, but again, we don't want to see any more threats to the Bahamas and the southeast coast. Come on. But we're going to watch it very carefully. As of right now, the focus is on Isaias taking aim at the Carolinas. Heavy rainfall, flood threat, gusty winds, storm surge, anywhere from the Georgia coast all the way up to New England. We'll continue to zero in on it as time goes by and tell you when we expect landfall of this tropical cyclone. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on Tropical Storm Isaias. I will talk to you guys next time.